good morning and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. So today's discussion is about freelancing. The most common question I get all the time from artists is, how do I start freelancing? How do I start getting more work? How do I get the work? And what I have to really just say to that, it's all about just building your brand and longevity in all honesty. This is the most important thing just to understand, is that when you're working, if you do have a job doing anything that you do, if you're in the studios right now, you have to start working on your freelance career. You need to start building the connections. You need to start moving into that phase. You cannot just wait to work at your job, do what you're doing, and all of a sudden either get laid off or just quit or anything else, and then decide I want to start freelancing now. It's one of these steps that has to be built, and it takes time. And all my years, that's what I've always done from the time I was 18 years old. I've been freelancing and just walking the streets and putting myself out there. And I advertised. I always had business cards. When I was doing caricatures, I would get clients because people would need my services. I would create my own services. I would advertise in the yellow pages at that time as an artist. And just that's the big thing, is you have to just start the process, because it's going to be slow. And that's my point here, is that it's not going to happen immediately. It's not going to just happen overnight. You gotta transition into it, and then eventually when that time comes and you're not at the studios, or you don't wish to be, or whatever happens, you can transition smoothly. And eventually what's going to happen is that freelance is going to start taking over, hopefully, just the amount of work that you were doing when you're at the studio, and that's a good thing. And that's the way that you have to start thinking about getting into the freelance. So you need to develop your brand and start now. I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm 43 years old now, and it's been a long journey. And that's what's most important, is acceptance of that. Because I know with the problem is with the media today, and Facebook, internet, everything's like right now. We need it right now. I gotta have it right now. If I don't have it right now, then you go crazy in your mind, right? That's why you gotta realize, you gotta slow it down. You gotta realize that it is gonna take time. You gotta start building that website. You got to start building, who are you? What's your company name? What's your name? Is it a good name? My name happened to be Silver, and I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool name. I could go with that. Use Silver for my brand. So everything that I do, I put Silver on everything. My business cards, my website, my apps, my books, you name it. Silver becomes part of the brand, and that's what, like AT&T or Coca-Cola or anything else. And that's what you want to do, is start developing that. And start today and make that logo and start that process in your publishing company and whatever you want to do. But get that started now, and then that transition will be smoother. A lot of people think, can I just work freelance when I live in Cincinnati, or I live in Texas, or I live someplace else and I'm not in LA or New York? Will the studios hire me just freelance? Oftentimes the reality is, not to say it won't happen or can't happen, but it doesn't happen as often unless you have worked within the studio system and people know you, because this is all about connections. It's all about trust. Have they worked with you? Yeah, I've worked with you, or I was referred to you by someone else who did work with you. And that's why I'm calling you today, to see if you're available for that job. Most people do want you to come in-house, but it's going to change. I do believe that over the next few years, as more and more things become more remote, that freelance market is going to open up in a big ways. But I would encourage you just to know in your mind that don't believe that you can just all of a sudden get a character design job at Nickelodeon or Disney or anywhere else if you're living in Timbuktu and you haven't worked with anyone before. That's very unlikely, all right? So this is why I encourage the importance of getting yourself out there. Just constantly be creating content and create content. The thing is, when you're learning, that's what you want to be doing. If you're learning how to do anything, just start making something out of it. That's how I did it when I was doing my books. I didn't put together just a fake book, pretending how I got to learn how to put together a book, or I was pretending how do I do caricatures, and I kept learning caricatures. I was putting myself out there professionally and doing caricatures professionally, and that's how I was learning. And when I was doing a book, I was making these things. So for you, you got to make sure that you're putting yourself out there and you get out to those conventions. And even if you don't set up at those conventions, that you just network at those conventions and you see what other people are doing at those conventions in order to give you ideas, because that's where ideas spawn from. The ideas are not going to spawn from you sitting at your computer all day long looking at Tumblr and Flickr and Facebook and not putting yourself out there in the real world, because that will corrupt you. So it's time, in all honesty, just to limit yourself with the amount of time you're spending, and then really, all honesty, just put a time cap on how much time you're going to be researching and spending time looking at everyone else's projects on the internet, as opposed to working on your own projects and getting your own stuff done, and stop the daydreaming and stop wishing and the some days I'm going to do this and some days I'm going to do that. Today's your day to do that. Today's your day just to start. Just write it down and start putting yourself out there and making stuff happen. All right, so that's what you got to do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for sharing, and I'll see you guys again next Monday. Take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey. All right, so you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks. Whoa! Hey! Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go.